This year, as we were revamping our open house program, we developed a new presentation for prospective families. After hearing positive feedback from a few folks, we decided to share a modified version with the whole community to remind us all what makes ACTS so special. For some of you, the following information will be familiar and a good reminder, but others, especially our new families, may have never heard some of these details before now. So what is Annapolis Classical Tutorial Service? Where did it come from? And what makes it so special? ACTS is a ministry of Evangelical Presbyterian Church of Annapolis. We are under the church's authority and educate students from a Christ-centered biblical worldview. Whether we are performing a science experiment, evaluating a historic event, or analyzing a work of literature. However, ACTS welcomes and serves families regardless of their religious affiliation. As a reminder, ACTS is a service that partners with parents to provide a rigorous classical Christian education and to help them reach their educational goals. Parents, not tutors, remain the primary homeschooling teachers. Now for a quick history lesson about ACTS. ACTS was established in 2002 by a group of Christian homeschooling families, including our wonderful current tutors, Linda Hannigan and Natalie Neawerner. Over the years, we have developed a solid framework of instruction that provides a consistent classical education from year to year, led by our team of committed tutors who are knowledgeable in and passionate about their subject matter. We have a low tutor turnover rate from year to year. Some of our tutors have been teaching at ACTS for over 15 years, and of course we keep our tutor-to-student ratios small in every class. We also have an administration team on site for every ACTS day to provide support for families, students, and tutors. Overseeing all the activities and administration of ACTS is a board composed of dedicated families who work year-round to foster a welcoming and encouraging atmosphere of learning. Our board members are Sarah and Adam Bosma, Darcy Cox, Paul and Erica Milborn, Doug and Erica Mules, Natalie Neawerner, and Charlton and Jennifer Walker.
Now that we have covered some of the basic information about ACTS, we would like to take a moment to discuss the classical education model that we follow. ACTS uses the classical Christian educational model, which promotes the cultivation of virtue and wisdom by nourishing the soul on beauty, truth, and goodness, according to God's revelation, the Bible, and the classical Christian liberal arts. This is accomplished by doing the following: teaching history chronologically, beginning at creation, using living books such as historical fiction based on the period of history being studied, assigning classics in literature for all grades, integrating the curriculum to connect subjects to one another, and teaching Latin, which trains and develops the mind for logical thought. Classical education uses the trivium as the method to teach our students about the world and its creator. The trivium takes advantage of a child's cognitive development at each of three stages: grammar, dialectic, and rhetoric. The first stage of the trivium is the grammar stage, grades 1 through 6, referred to here at ACTS as G1 through G6. In the grammar stage, children gain knowledge by memorization of facts. This is accomplished through the use of repetition or chants, songs, recitations, rote learning, and books. Children in this stage love learning facts and are able to easily recite them back to you during this stage. The second stage of the trivium is the dialectic logic stage, grades 7 through 9, referred to here as D1 through D2 and 9th grade. In this stage, students gain understanding by questioning and analyzing the facts they learned in the grammar stage. Everything is why. They are very interested in cause and effect. We teach them logic so they may debate and argue effectively, eloquently, and in a proper manner. They also learn to detect logical fallacies such as faulty reasoning. The rhetoric stage is the final stage of the trivium, grades 10 through 12, referred to here as high school. At this stage, students gain wisdom by learning to apply and communicate everything they have learned in the previous two stages. Rhetoric is the art of effective or persuasive communication and writing in a lovely manner. By this time, students are able to present the facts they learned in the grammar stage, use logic from the dialectic stage to express their opinions about the facts, and now use rhetoric to persuade others through beautifully crafted debates, essays, speeches, etc. Now a word about Latin, which is a key component of classical education. We are often asked the question, why Latin? Latin is the foundational subject within the grammar stage that directly prepares students for logic and critical thinking, the foundational subjects of the dialectic stage. Logic and critical thinking are then drawn upon to effectively and persuasively communicate ideas in the rhetoric stage. Specifically, ACTS students are taught a logical and systematic approach to Latin translation, which guides them through the grammatical ambiguities of the Latin language. Later, when exposed to formal logic in the dialectic stage, students are able to apply this systematic approach to their study of logic as well as other subjects. Latin and logic are not add-on subjects, but are the backbone to our pedagogy. A child can be well educated without Latin, but their education will not have been classical.
Next up, we will discuss the scope of what we cover from kindergarten through high school and the sequence we follow to achieve a rigorous and thorough classical education. In kindergarten, ACTS focuses on supporting parents as they teach their children the alphabet and counting, as well as the proper formation of letters and numbers. We cover general science concepts to develop observation skills, basic geography to broaden their world, and classroom etiquette to help with social interaction. The children are also exposed to composers and different music styles, as well as completing many art projects. Grammar 1 reinforces skills and concepts learned in kindergarten while also introducing knowledge of grammar. We use Shirley English Level 1 and begin memorizing the parts of speech. Further exploration of science and history topics continue to spark interest in learning, and the children continue to study composers and artists, even emulating paintings such as Starry Night. Beginning in Grammar 2, the children are assigned work at home across 4 main subjects. In Grammar and Composition, we use Shirley English for grades 2 through 6 to lay a thorough and firm grammar foundation to prepare them for writing, as well as to support their future study of Latin. We incorporate the Institute for Excellence in Writing beginning in Grammar 3 to establish strong composition habits and create confident writers. In D1 and D2, 7th and 8th grade, students transition into more complex writing styles using literature-based resources while reinforcing their grammar using RightSource. In our high school courses, Dialectic 3 through Rhetoric, we hone composition skills by evaluating advanced works of literature, writing research papers, and preparing for college-level writing. For history, students use Veritas History as their guide, beginning with creation in Grammar 2 and progressing to modern times in Grammar 6. The goal is to build a framework that develops a clear chronology of history that will be expanded and built upon in later grades. Upon entering the dialectic stage, students start again with creation and expand on the facts they learned in the grammar stage. Students begin to develop strong reasoning skills by asking the why questions of history as they move through the cycle the second time. In high school, students continue to progress with logic and reasoning as they move through history up to modern times in both America and the world at large. We begin Latin in Grammar 3 with Latin for Children and transition to Wheelock's Latin in G6. From G6 through D2, students participate in the National Latin Exam. Our students always perform very well. Last year, most of our students received an award and 3 perfect score. For science, ACT students will study a different science each year from G2 through G6, covering zoology, botany, astronomy, human anatomy, and junior chemistry. The first science fair project occurs in G6. Junior physics and logic are covered in the dialectic years. You will notice no science classes offered in D2. However, most families consider logic to be their science class for their annual review or supplement with more traditional science work outside of ACTS. Logic continues in high school, reinforcing higher level biology and chemistry classes. As you can see, our scope and sequence provides a clear and organized roadmap of academic instruction across multiple subjects, from the earliest grades up through high school.
Now we will cover some more specific details by grade level. We have covered most of those distinctions in the classical education portion, but here we will share the differences in the workload outside of the classroom and other details. Children entering kindergarten and G1 come to ACTS with significant differences in reading and writing abilities. Because of this, our tutors focus on a myriad of topics that can be introduced independent of reading and writing capability. There is no homework required outside of class until the second half of G1, when a small amount of grammar homework is introduced. Beginning in G1, students are required to wear uniforms. Beginning in G2, students will participate in 4 separate classes per grade level. Homework levels outside of ACTS increase over time from 20 to 30 minutes per subject per home instruction day in G2 to 30 to 40 minutes per subject per day from G3 to G6. Homework time increases as the students develop. D1 and D2 students should expect 40 to 60 minutes of homework per subject on non-ACTS days, with occasional extra work for special research projects. D2 is the final year of Latin and the first year of logic. As we mentioned before, logic takes the place of science in 8th grade. Much to the delight of the D3 9th grade students, they are no longer required to wear uniforms, but can wear business casual attire instead. With that change also comes an increase in homework, 60 to 75 minutes per subject on non-ACTS days with occasional extra work for special research projects. They continue with the second year of logic and add high school level biology with a lab to replace the Latin time slot. For our a la carte 10th graders and up, homework continues to require 60 to 75 minutes per subject on non-ACTS days with occasional extra work for special research projects. Subjects at this level are offered as needed according to the needs of each class. Many of our students begin to transition into community college classes after the 10th or 11th grade year. By that time, they are very well prepared for college-level work. As a side note, Anne Arundel Community College offers dual enrollment classes at half-price tuition rates for high school students residing in that county. Just to give a glimpse of education beyond ACTS, here are some colleges ACTS alumni have attended. Many of our former students have pursued or are currently pursuing various 4-year degree programs and beyond at many different colleges and universities.
As you all know by now, ACTS takes educating our students very seriously. And even though we are in the midst of COVID, we hope you also know how much we consider family support and fun to be an important part of our community. Hopefully you all recall or have been informed that in non-COVID times, we have had an active in-person social schedule, from park days to mom teas to family game and pizza night. We have special events for families to attend, such as our Back to ACT social, medieval feast, Christmas lunch, Festival of the Arts, and end-of-year program. In class, the students enjoy special snack days in the fall and around Valentine's Day. Multiple field trips are offered per year across grade levels that often allow entire families to participate. We also enjoy regular opportunities for unstructured and impromptu social interactions at ACTS. We usually spend lots of time chatting at each dismissal and often plan gatherings at other times as families. Lord willing, next year we will be back to normal. And just so the established families are aware, we began a new support program at the beginning of this year called the Buddy Parent Program. Experienced ACTS moms were paired with incoming families to help facilitate their integration into our tutorial service, from helping with binder setup to supporting them in those first few weeks. Our community likes doing life together. We build strong friendships, provide support, and make memories with each other that last a lifetime. Now we will share information about registering your students for next year. Please make sure you have your calendars available. Some great news first. There will be no tuition increase next year. Tuition for all grade levels and stages will remain the same. Enrollment for current families began last week. However, there are a few changes to note this year about the process. First, registration is available to be completed electronically. Links were sent out to current ACTS families last Friday. Current families have enrollment priority through Wednesday, March 10th. This means we must have your completed registration no later than Wednesday, March 10th to hold your student's seat for the 2021-2022 academic year. Completed registration includes one online registration form submitted per student, including any new students, and all enrollment signature packet documents signed and returned. These documents include one enrollment agreement form, one promissory note for current students, one parent acknowledgments and agreement form, one student acknowledgments and agreement form, one photo release form, and one allergy form per student. These documents should be printed, signed, and returned to the ACTS registrar. You can do this by delivering them in person or by scanning and emailing them to actsregistrar@annapolisclassicaltutorial.org. Your re-enrollment is not complete until these documents are received. On Thursday, March 11th, we will begin processing new family applications. Unlike previous years, we already have a wait list in some of our classes. Your student's seat can only be guaranteed if your completed re-enrollment registration is received by Wednesday, March 10th. Another change we are making involves collecting a registration fee of $150 per family. However, to encourage our families to re-enroll early, this fee will be waived if registration is completed before April 1st. This registration fee will be discounted by $100 for registrations received between April 1st and April 30th, and the fee will be discounted by $50 for registrations received between May 1st and May 31st. Beginning June 1st, the full registration fee will be collected for re-enrollment. In the email you received last Friday, a course description, including tuition cost, was attached for each of your students for next year's classes. Feel free to contact the administrative team if you need the email to be resent or if you have any additional questions when you're filling out your re-enrollment forms. This concludes our recorded presentation. Now time to wrap things up.